Hello and welcome to Follow the Money. I'm Robert Tan. Here we uncover the stories and strategies of how money really moves. Today we talk about Philippine-Palestine relations, how diplomacy, development and cooperation are shaping the future of partnership between our two nations. And joining us exclusive on BNC's Follow the Money is Her Excellency Varsen Aghabekian Shahin, Minister of Foreign Affairs and Expatriates of the State of Palestine, to discuss bilateral ties, economic opportunities, governance reforms, and the growing connections between our peoples. Welcome to the show, Madam Minister. Thank you for joining us.
Good evening, and thank you very much. Thank you for hosting me.
Thank you for taking time. I know you're only here for a few days, but thank you for joining us here at Follow the Money. Now, Madam Minister, let's start with this. Now, how would you now describe the current direction of the Palestine-Philippine relations today?
Philippine is a very important friend to Palestine, and Philippine was one of the countries that recognized Palestine much earlier than others in 1989. And it was before the peace process, before the wave of recognitions, and more importantly, before the wave of the most recent recognitions. So we do appreciate the ties, and we look forward to strengthening bilateral relations with Philippines, and not only in terms of our diplomatic relationship, but maybe trade and so forth.
Now, what areas of cooperation between our two nations are most promising now and ready for deeper development?
With Palestine trying to materialize an independent state, and after such a long time of pain and suffering, and after what we have seen in terms of the brutal aggression on Gaza in the last 2 years, you would need help in almost every area. So today what we are trying to unveil is what each country can help and assist, whether in terms of the know-how or in terms of the funding, etc. But when it comes to the Philippines, I think there's a lot that can be done in terms of technical and vocational training, in terms of maybe agriculture, in terms of healthcare. So we need to see what niche the Philippines can offer and move in that direction.
Now, with the current issues happening today, do you see a lot of roadblocks that could strengthen the developments, the cooperation in terms of trade? Are there any kinds of trade discussions between our two countries today?
No, today trade is minimal between Philippines and Palestine. And let's remember that Palestine is still under occupation, and all our borders are controlled by the State of Israel, the occupied State of Israel. So once we move more into the direction of independence, I think trade issues might be more freely tackled. Today there is a minimal trade. There is some sort of trade on Palestinian soap, juices, etc., but nothing substantial.
But do you see that to maybe in the future accelerate more?
Yes, of course. With independence and with building our economy, I believe that is a real fact to look forward to.
Now, Madam Minister, with you only being here for 5 days, what kind of activities will you be having here in terms of being the Minister for Foreign Affairs and Expatriates? What do you hope to achieve with your visit here?
First of all, strengthening our bilateral relations. So I will have several meetings with the Minister of Foreign Affairs. I will see the Minister of Foreign Affairs, her team. We will talk about bilateral relations, signing a memorandum of understanding, looking into trade issues, looking into, for example, tourism, religious tourism, and so forth.
So in terms of how many, if you have any data of how many Palestinian citizens are here in the Philippines, and what kind of, let's say, communication do you have with them here? What kind of, are there any businesses? What kind of growth in terms of when they come here, or any tourism? between the two countries?
I think Palestinians here are in the hundreds, and there are some very well-established Palestinians who are, businessmen. Some have come in the last year from Gaza with their families. I think maybe altogether no more than 1,000, but that's a good number. And we need to find a way to bring them together and come closer to them and discuss with them what challenges they have and how they can promote their living in the Philippines.
Now, when we talk about Filipinos, they're globally skilled workers, are new labor skills or education partnerships being explored with Palestine?
Yes, we used to have laborers from the Philippines in healthcare, in other areas, and we can talk more about that once the situation permits on the ground. Today, the situation is very difficult, but we know that that day will come soon because we will start the reconstruction, the relief and reconstruction efforts in Gaza, and we will start also simultaneously in parallel development efforts on the West Bank, and I'm sure hardworking Filipinos will do a lot.
Would you be able to give us a glimpse of what's happening on the ground in Palestine today? And let's say, are there any roadblocks? Do you see any light at the end of the tunnel in terms of trying to get through this?
Well, the situation is very volatile, but let me start with the light at the end of the tunnel. Maybe we don't see it now, but we need to create it and we need to find it because people need to see that light so that they can think of a better future for themselves and their children. The Palestinians have had enough of the pain and the suffering over decades of war and conflict and killing and injuries, and more so in the last 2 years. I mean, what the Gazans, as part and parcel of us, the Palestinians, have been through is just out of this mind. It's unconscionable, it's unimaginable. And as I said, enough is enough. What we want is to liberate ourselves, rid ourselves from this occupation and just live like anybody else on this earth in a sovereign state. Today, the life is terrified by settler terrorism, unleashed settlers who are armed, who terrorize Palestinian lives on the West Bank. We have checkpoints, we have iron gates on cities, we have about 1,200 iron gates and checkpoints, making Palestinian life extremely difficult, extremely difficult.
What are your hopes? Do you look at it in a very optimistic manner?
Optimism is not an option. We have to stay optimistic. And sometimes you wonder how Palestinians can stay optimistic. But what does it do if we go into despair? Nothing. I mean, we will lose it. So we have to stay optimistic. We have to detangle all the challenges as much as we can. We garner support from the world, and we use international law.
Now, Madam Minister, now we see that both our countries do deal with governance challenges. What key reforms is Palestine prioritizing in improving public service and transparency?
A lot of reform, because we as Palestinians want to place ourselves on par with people of the world and one who deserve to have our own country, and our own country has to be with best standards. But let's remember, we are a country in the making, and we are still under occupation. And there are so many challenges that we face because of the occupation, not because we cannot do. For example, people ask us, why don't you have elections? Well, because occupation doesn't permit you to have elections. If you want to have elections, you want to have them on the entirety of occupied territory. And today we know that in Gaza, you cannot hold elections. People will not be interested in elections today. They're interested in putting bread and butter at their tables. In occupied East Jerusalem, Israelis will not allow Palestinians living in East Jerusalem to elect. So unless the environment is conducive, elections would be difficult. But we know how to conduct elections, and we've conducted elections in the past, and those elections moved very well. So it's not about us not understanding democratic principles or not knowing how to use democracy or follow democracy. It's about the environment that is not conducive. So we have a lot of things to worry about in terms of democratization, elections and otherwise. We have to worry about how we better provide services through our institutions, how to decrease the expenditures, how to have a leaner public service in all sectors, in education, in healthcare, in water, in electricity, you name it.
With these kinds of limitations because of what's happening in your country, what kind of innovations are you able to do? Like your visit here, what do you hope to get and come back in Palestine, the kind of relationship that we have with both of our countries?
Well, if, for example, we sign a memorandum of understanding on political consultations, these political consultations would lead to joint committee meetings on ministerial level in terms of economy, tourism, communication, IT, etc., and see where we can best make benefit from the Philippines and where Philippines can also best make benefit from its relationship from Palestine, because this relationship is mutual. Philippine benefits and Palestine benefits.
Now, what lessons can Palestine and the Philippines exchange with each other when it comes to institution building and fighting corruption?
I think there's a lot that we can learn from each other. Each one of us has his or experience, and that experience can be, transferred, it can be amplified. We can see what worked in the Philippines, what is under experimentation in Palestine, and exchange. The dialogue is very important between nations, and as such, this visit is very important to open this horizon.
Like an exchange of best practices, what works in Palestine could probably work here, and maybe discussions of what works here
can work in Palestine. Yes.
Now, as developing economies, how can our two nations now collaborate in areas like digital transformation, entrepreneurship, or innovation? We know we can't escape digitalization.
Yes. Today, digitalization is a big thing in Palestine. And for example, if you want to provide better services, you have to go digital. And this is what we're trying to do with our e-government. So there are areas that we can further explore. Once we have ministerial committees speaking together, then they can air out the interests on both sides and how we can move forward.
Now, as you navigate the issues surrounding your country, what kind of innovations are happening right now in terms of technology?
Look, as I said, the environment is quite restraining in Palestine, and that potential needs to be unleashed. But for it to be unleashed, you have to have more political freedom. Remember, Palestine has no control over its borders, not the land borders, not airspace. It has no control of its water, its energy, its natural resources, etc. So all of this is impeding a lot on what Palestine wants to do. But regardless, Palestinians are quite resilient, and we have a lot of young people today who study in Palestine and abroad and have these great ideas on how to develop their country. But as I said, this needs to be in parallel to what is happening on the political level.
Now, Madam Minister, we still have a lot to discuss, especially collaboration between our two countries, but we'll just take a short break. Follow the money. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Follow the Money. Still with us is Her Excellency Varsen Aghabekian Shahin, Minister of Foreign Affairs and Expatriates of the State of Palestine. Now, Madam Minister, you were mentioning before the break, you will have a meeting with the President. Can you tell us a little bit about that, when that's going to happen, and what kind of discussions do you see coming out from that?
Yes, I was very lucky to be able to have a meeting with the President. It will take place on Wednesday. I carry a letter from my President, Mahmoud Abbas, to President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. And in that letter, there's a cordial message on appreciation of the relationship and the support for a peace path that will bring a lasting peace for the Middle East. And once we talk about peace, then we can air out what potential we have in the future for a better relationship. So I expect that meeting to be eventful and fruitful.
Hopefully, definitely. Madam Minister, you'll only be here for 5 days?
4 days.
4 days.
in
What kind
total.
of activities will you be having? Will you be meeting with counterparts also in the foreign
Yes.
minister here? And what do you expect to happen there, come out from that discussions?
Well, with
also?
the foreign ministry, we will be talking about bilateral relations. We will sign a memorandum of understanding. Then we will have a joint press conference. I also have 2 lectures at 2 major universities. And I'm an academic myself. So it's important to be in an academic environment. And this is where people learn how to think and how to analyze. And many of them will probably be the future diplomats.
Yes, we have to have critical thinking as well.
Yes. So we will talk about the plight of the Palestinians and what future we see for a lasting peace in the Middle East. We also have a big celebration tomorrow night. It will be the celebration of our Independence Day on the 15th and the Solidarity Day with the Palestinians, which is supposed to be held on the 29th. So the ambassador here thought we will have both events in one, and we will hold it tomorrow. So there will be a raffle, there will be, you will have Palestinian clothes and you will have some Palestinian items displayed and for sale. Probably Palestinian food and so forth.
You have a very busy 4 days, Madam Minister. Hopefully you can have some time to taste the Filipino cuisine and see some sights.
Well, the cuisine, yes, we've already had some. We had a meeting today at tied with the Foreign Ministry, a lecture, and we've had some Filipino food.
Have you ever tasted Filipino food before?
Not before, but I'm looking forward to it. I'm also meeting with 2 cardinals. It's very important because I know this is a Catholic country, and I come from Jerusalem, and our ambassador comes from Bethlehem. So we come from the heart, the cradle of Christianity. And it's important to also talk about the plight of Palestinian Christians who are under a lot of attack these days and need the support of Christians of the world.
A lot of
Not
prayers,
just being Palestinian Christians, but part and parcel of the larger Christian, larger Palestinian community.
We need a lot of peace everywhere.
True.
Especially it's Christmas time coming up.
Very true.
Now, Madam Minister, people-to-people ties create long-term goodwill. Now, how important is cultural, academic, and civil society exchanges in strengthening our relationship?
Very important, because it's people to people that build the understanding. If we talk, for example, about peace agreements, if the leaders forge peace and shake hands and the people cannot internalize that peace, then there is no peace. So people-to-people projects are extremely important, and they're most important in the education sector, in exchanges of students, in cultural activities. For example, the activity that the Palestinian embassy here and the ambassador will be holding tomorrow evening is very important because it shows the people the food, the dress, the habits. It helps people better understand each other.
Well, you mentioned you are an educator. How important is it, like when you have your discussions on a top level and trying to communicate that to your citizens and also to the people? How important is that to at least be able to, for them to understand what's happening on a top level and trying to put it in layman's terms so they can understand it better what's happening?
Well, you need to understand your audience. And as a diplomat, it's not always important to speak as a diplomat. Sometimes you need to speak as a commoner because you need to speak the language of your audience. And as such, maybe an educator understands that the best because you have students of different levels. And you need to me, making people in general understand is as important as conveying the message to the diplomats and the politicians. Because people are the ones who influence policy making. And if the people understand the issues, then we are at least a bit more hopeful that these issues will reach to the decision makers' table.
Does it help that you can tie in education and diplomacy into one and help more people understand it better?
Yes, very much so. And this is why I like to be in universities, because this is where people can critically think.
Yes.
And this is where people learn about international law. And this is where people might analyze what is happening in the world, divorced from the day-to-day political issues.
Passing on to the next generation.
Yes.
Yes. Now, Madam Minister, what is your impression now of the Filipino community living and working in Palestine?
The Filipino community is a very hardworking community. They're religious people. They have very high ethics. They're easily approachable, very friendly, and want to work hard so that they can help themselves and their families. And for that, we are most appreciative because of the hard work and the honesty with which they present themselves, and the belief in what they do. And you see it here. I mean, I've been here for a day, but I see people who are very approachable, very simple, always smiling. most of
we
the
need
people,
more of that these days.
I was told by my colleague that yes, this is what you will see, but now I believe because I saw it myself.
Now, Madam Minister, how can the Philippines and Palestine now support each other's development goals, especially in governance, economic resilience, and human capital?
We can help in all areas you've talked about. We have a development agenda that is public, and your ambassador might look at it and see what areas are most suitable for further cooperation. And I think tomorrow, with the foreign minister and her team, we will be discussing that more to see what best suits both countries.
Hopefully to boost more trade and more innovation and more, I guess,
hopefully.
Transfer of best practices for both countries. Now, given the ongoing situation in Gaza, how do you balance humanitarian concerns with your broader diplomatic and development agenda?
Humanitarian concerns are immediate concerns and immediate needs. But humanitarian concerns will continue to be problematic if there is no move on the political track. So as a politician, as a diplomat, you need to ensure that both are moving in parallel. Because as Palestinians, we want to break that cycle of humanitarian assistance, because we have a lot to offer the world, and we can help ourselves, we can assist ourselves if we have control over our resources. So to be able to control our resources and to be able to go less to countries for support, we need movement on the political track.
So right now, that's a roadblock that you're...
Yes, and we need to move parallel in both directions.
Now, Madam Minister, what message would you like Filipinos to take away about Palestine's people, culture, and commitment to building strong ties with the Philippines?
First of all, it's important for the Filipino people to understand that we have great respect for the people. You have a beautiful country that we would like to also enjoy and come and visit. We have a country that is a focus of the world, but we need peace for you to be able to come and go through pilgrimage and religious tourism. And this is much needed today because Bethlehem is a dying city. Bethlehem is strangled. And if we don't boost the economy and the tourism in that specific city and Jerusalem, then we are in big trouble. And as I said, these are very important cities for Christians all over the world. And Christianity today in the occupied territories is in perils because the numbers of Christians are dwindling. They're not staying because they want a better future for their children. Occupation is detrimental to mere living from day to day. And we need to all together move towards a lasting peace, because that and that only will create change in the area, and for both of us to enjoy the Philippines and Palestine.
Boost tourism as well.
Yes,
hopefully in the future. Now, Madam Minister, any messages that you want to convey to the Filipino people, to your citizens and those watching today?
Yes, I want to say thank you for everything you do. Even speaking about Palestine, today I had so positive vibes from the young people who attended the lecture. And I know that these vibes translate to something bigger, and I sensed the appreciation of the people of the plight of the Palestinians. I want them to continue to speak well on the need to forge peace, because peace and only peace will bring peace and prosperity, not only to the Palestinians, but beyond that.
Yes. Well, we pray for that, a light at the end of the tunnel, and hopefully the issues do stop, and hope for the best. Now, Madam Minister, we're still not done. We have this part of the show where we call it the rapid fire questions. You just have to answer yes or no.
Okay.
Is this the fun part?
Okay.
You don't have to explain your answer.
Okay. So I just say yes or no?
Yes or no, just yes or no. Let's start with this. Do you enjoy trying Filipino food? Yes or no?
Yes.
Have you ever picked up a useful life lesson from a complete stranger? Yes or no?
Yes.
Can you start your day without coffee or tea?
Yes.
Yes or no? Yes. Do you believe leaders are made, not born? Yes or no?
No.
Have you ever said yes to a challenge even if you weren't fully ready? Yes or no?
Yes.
And finally, Madam Minister, complete the sentence. Money is the root of all.
Yes and no.
I hear you can answer. You don't have to answer yes or no. Money is the root of all blank.
Evils.
Evils. Okay. But hopefully we do find peace all over the world, not just in Pakistan, but everywhere. We do need it, and smile. And despite with all these challenges, we do hope that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. Thank you for joining us, Madam Minister. I know you're very busy. Thank you for taking your time to join us here and Follow the Money. Thank you.
Thank you.
When nations work together, partnership is shaped by history, purpose, and the shared need to move forward. As the late President John F. Kennedy once said, geography has made us neighbors, history has made us friends, economics has made us partners, and necessity has made us allies. When diplomacy is rooted in mutual respect, it opens doors for cooperation that's meaningful, sustainable, and built to last. Today's conversation with Madam Minister Varsen Shahin showed how Palestine and the Philippines can strengthen ties from governance and economic partnerships to cultural and people-to-people connections. As both nations navigate challenges and pursue development, the true test of partnership will be how shared values translate into shared progress and greater opportunities for our people. And before we go, it's 38 days till Christmas, and hope we find peace by then. I'm Robert Tan. Stay curious, stay sharp, and always follow the money.